So if you're moving to the city of Windsor, or you're thinking about moving to the city of Windsor, you're probably wondering, what is the cost of living there? Like, how much am I really going to spend compared to where I'm living right now? We're going to go over all that on the way. The cost of living in Windsor, and I'm going to compare it to the GTA, all right? Because it's vastly different. Like, I used to live, not the GTA, but I lived in London for a while. I spent some time way up north in Sudbury and in Timmins. I visit out west a lot to Calgary and Banff and all that. And I'll tell you right now, this is the cheapest place I've ever lived. So we're going to go over everything on the way, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Everything changes city to city. Like groceries, the cost of groceries change. In some cases, the cost of like McDonald's will change from city to city. It's more expensive to buy McDonald's out west than it is in Ontario, and it's cheaper in some different regions. I can tell you right now, a Big Mac is more money in downtown Toronto than it is elsewhere. I can tell you that right now. Gas changes, utilities change, property taxes, the cost of rent, the cost of buying a house, all that fluctuates city to city. So what I got is like all these different categories, and I'm just gonna go category by category, comparing the Windsor area to the different regions of the GTA, and we'll see what's cheaper, where, and why. All right? All that is on the way. My name, by the way, is Ryan. I'm a real estate agent and real estate appraiser here in Windsor, so I know everything there is about moving to and living in the Windsor region. If you're looking to buy a house in Windsor, I get lots of people reaching out to me from YouTube all the time. Feel free to reach out. You can shoot me a text or you can give me a call, and I'd love to help you out. It's what I do. I help people buy and sell in the Windsor region. Any question, feel free to hit me up. Click like on this video if you want more content. Click subscribe. Let's go. So let's start with my specialty, which is housing prices. Buying a house in the Windsor area. How much does it cost? I don't know when you're watching this, so this could be out of date depending on when you're looking. I mean, the market changes quickly sometimes. So if you want accurate pricing and you're serious about thinking about doing this, feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, or shoot me a text. All right, but what I'm going to do is take this house right here, which sold in the month of June 2022. It's your typical first-time home buyer or retiree home. It's a small home, about 1,000 square feet, maybe a little bit more, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, finished basement. It's in a good neighborhood. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to compare it to similar houses all throughout the GTA, okay? So first off, Windsor, June 2022, this sold for $650,000. It was listed for a lot less. Yes, there were multiple offers, but still $650,000, okay? In Toronto, I found this comparable property. They're asking $1.25 million for it. Now, as I go through these, I don't know what the selling price is going to be. Okay, these are just the asking prices. Could be more, could be a bit less. Mississauga, I found this one for sale. It's actually more than in Toronto. It's $1.3 million on 10th Street. In Brampton, this guy looks comparable. $1.1 million is listed for on Horwood Drive. Now we get a bit cheaper, okay? Kitchener, they're asking $750,000 for this. It's 3 beds, 2 baths, just like the one I showed you in Windsor. Again, no idea what the sale price is going to be, but the starting asking price is $750,000, and the exact same with London. This nice house, $750,000 is what they're asking. So Windsor is clearly the most affordable out of all of those places. In fact, if you're living up in the GTA somewhere, let's do this backwards. Let's take a look at what your house is probably worth, and then let's see what you could buy in Windsor for the same amount of money. And I think this one's really going to blow your mind because it shows you how your just standard of living can increase by getting out of the GTA. So let's say this is your house right here, okay? It's worth around $1.3 million, okay? In Windsor, here are a few homes that recently sold in that price range, okay? So how about this guy right here? 3,500 square feet. That's a big home. $1.245 million. So $1.2 million, really. Also for $1.2 million, we got this guy right here. This guy is on a very nice area with a man-made manicured lake, $1.1 million. This guy's 3 beds, 3 baths, 1,500 square feet for $1.1 million. And we got one more that's right around that price range right here, okay? honestly, Windsor is a great opportunity for anyone who already owns property somewhere in Ontario, because you move down here and you just get so much more for the same amount of money, and it's a great place to live. Like, go look at my video, pros and cons of living in Windsor, Ontario. I start with the cons, okay? Skip to the pros. It's a great freaking area to live. You get Detroit right there. So all the stuff you would get in Toronto, like the big name, musicians coming to town and Major League Sports like the Blue Jays and all that. You get all that here too. You just got to drive for 15 minutes. It's not long, okay? And you get cheap flights out of Detroit too if you like to travel. This is a great place to live. And you get way more for your money. Just by moving down here from the GTA, like why are you living in like a small house it's cramped, small little 1,000 square foot home and paying over $1 million for it when you can come down here and you can get way more for that same amount of money? And yes, the prices have increased in Windsor over the last 5 years, but they have in Toronto too, okay? You're still going to get more down here for that amount of money, and that's one of the reasons why Windsor has kind of been popping off lately. Renters and people who want to invest in a house in Windsor. This next section is for you. We're going to go over what rent actually is in this area, okay? Okay, so let's use the same house that we just mentioned before, that small 1,000 square foot home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You're going to get somewhere between $2,000 and $2,400 a month, depending on, I know that's a big gap, but it's going to depend on exactly the neighborhood you're in. Is the basement finished? Is there like a detached garage? Is it 2 bathrooms? How many bathrooms are there? And how does it finished on the inside, okay? That house I showed you, you're probably getting $2,200 a month for that. Okay, you add a garage, you're getting more. If you want something like this, this is going to be more like $2,700 a month. It's a raised ranch. It's got 3 bedrooms on the main. It's got another bedroom down below. It's got 2 baths, and it's in a dynamite area. It's a newer build, right? Like those small little ranches are built in the 50s and the 60s. Something like this is built, 2000, right around there. Now you can go cheaper. That is a possibility. 2 beds, 1 bath. No basement, just crawl space. I mean, you're probably renting for around $1,600 a month at the time of recording this. All right, let's talk property tax, okay? Now, this is going to be cheaper than the GTA just because the assessment value of the house is going to be less expensive, right? So you're going to pay less. But to give you a better idea of what taxes actually are, I'm going to go over a few. The one we mentioned so far, our subject property so far. This little one, it's 1,000 square feet. You're likely going to pay $3,300 for the year. So like $275 a month in property tax on that place. But even in our region, property taxes change municipality to municipality, okay? So the cheapest in our area is right now Lakeshore. There's something called a mill rate, and they take what your house is valued at and they times it by that number, and that's how they get how much you should pay in property tax. The lower the mill rate, the lower that you have to pay on your property, okay? So right now, Lakeshore, which is a beautiful area to live, has the lowest mill rate, meaning you're going to pay lower taxes for the same property value than you would in Windsor or Tecumseh or LaSalle. So let's take this house right here. If this is located in Windsor, your property taxes are going to be around $4,000 a year right now as the date of recording. In LaSalle, you're going to be $4,100, like a little bit more, okay? In Lakeshore, you're right around $3,000 for the year. That's great. That's the cheapest you're going to find in this area. Not bad at all. Now, why is Lakeshore cheaper in taxes? I don't know. I don't really. I mean, let's be honest. The cities base it off their expenses, and they base it off of your property values. It's all nice houses out in Lakeshore, so there's no cheaper areas. So there's nobody who's paying really low taxes, so they don't need to make it up by charging more elsewhere. Maybe that's why, or maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know. But regardless, property taxes are a little bit less in the nice community of Lakeshore. All right, so let's talk gas. Filling up your car, okay? So according to Numbeo.com, which is this website that compares the cost of things in different cities, they say that on average gas for your car is 5% less in Windsor compared to Toronto. But I don't believe it, to be honest with you. All right? So if I go to gasbuddy.com and I look at what is the price of gas today in Toronto, and I look at what is the price of gas today in Windsor, it seems to always be a little bit more in Toronto. In fact, according to CAA's website, Toronto's average price today is $198.6 a liter. Windsor's is $2.01 a liter. So as far as I can see, you're not necessarily going to be paying less at the pump in Windsor compared to Toronto, but you will still save money, okay? How's that possible? Here's how. Anywhere you want to get in our region, anywhere, it's like max 20-minute drive. Max. And we have an expressway that shoots you out there real quick. It's usually not slow unless it's there's a construction or an accident. But other than that, like, it's usually fast. Hop on the expressway, go east, go west, go wherever, okay? 20 minutes max. In Toronto, I mean, how long is it taking you to get to Yorkdale Mall or something like that? Go down to see a Blue Jays game. Like, it's taking a long freaking time. We don't have that problem here. So let's look at this. Let's say you wanted to go from Etobicoke all the way to Yorkdale. Boom, 45 minutes. In Windsor, let's say you're going to go from LaSalle to our mall, Devonshire Mall. 15 minutes, and that's only because they're doing construction right now as we speak. Normally, it's like 8 minutes. It's nothing. Now, Yorkdale is a better mall. Yeah, they got more stuff. It's a big city. But still, I mean, way less time to get what you need. Let's say that you want to go see a basketball game, okay? So from LaSalle, just a random neighborhood I'm picking, to Little Caesars Arena, that's 26 minutes. Now, that includes going through an international border checkpoint, and it's only 26 minutes. How long is it going to take you to get down to the Rogers Center to see the Jays? Okay, or down to see the Raptors. Okay, it's going to take you a while. It's probably more than 26 minutes, let's be honest. You're going to save gas in the Windsor area just because you're not driving anywhere near as much as you are in the major cities. Now, as far as taxis go and getting around that way, according to Numbeo.com, it will cost you more per kilometer for a taxi in Windsor than it would in Toronto. But that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, they're doing less driving around here, so they have to charge more per kilometer to make a living. But let's be honest, you're probably just going to Uber anyway, and I have no data for Uber. I don't know what the costs are, so who knows? All right, let's talk Major League Sports, okay? I'm a big fan. If you are too, we still have that in this area. No, we're not in Toronto, but we have all the Detroit sports teams, okay? Let's say you want to go see a Detroit Pistons basketball game, okay? According to SeatGeek.com, on average, those ticket prices are $47 USD, which means they're about $60 Canadian. Ticket prices for the Raptors average around $200. That's a huge difference. Much cheaper in Detroit. Okay, now, when you go to the game, you're going to have to park. In Toronto, I know from experience, you're paying $40 just to park. In Detroit, after you do the exchange, it's coming out to $25 to $38 Canadian. So it's close. Usually still cheaper, though. When it comes to baseball, actually, Blue Jays and Tigers tickets are actually pretty comparable. Okay? However, hockey, they're not. If you go see the Leafs, you're going to pay $148 on average, but we all know a good seat's going to be more like $300 or $400 or $500. In Detroit, the average ticket price is $72, and I've paid for like front row close seats before. It's like $200, $250. If it's a really good team in town or a playoff game, it's going to be a bit more, but it's not bad. It's cheaper than Toronto. And again, that parking, right? Instead of paying $40, $50 downtown Toronto, you're paying like $30 Canadian, really. Okay, so miscellaneous entertainment and lifestyle stuff. A lot of this stuff is going to be big box companies, right? Like, they don't change prices too drastically from community to community because it's kind of just set. But you will find it a bit cheaper, okay? So, according to Numbeo.com, if you want to go to the movies, it's going to be a little bit cheaper, as you can see here, if you're living in Windsor. Also, gym memberships are cheaper on average as well, although, again, Fit for Less, Crunch, like, these are chain places, and it's not really going to be different, I don't think. Unless you're talking local gyms, because I know there's some that are really good, like I think we have Riverside Fitness, which has a pool and everything, and just way more stuff than a Fit for Less is ever going to have. I imagine the Toronto version of that is definitely going to be more money. Now let's talk, you're going out to eat with some friends, okay? How much is this going to cost you compared to Toronto? And this one, I'll admit, is not very fair because Toronto's going to be more just because the restaurants have higher rent if they're downtown Toronto and there's more stuff to do around there. But nevertheless, let's see how it compares. An inexpensive meal is pretty much the same as you see here. However, everything else is cheaper in Windsor. Dinner for two, a beer, even McDonald's, they're predicting, is slightly cheaper in Windsor than in Toronto. Now, let's compare Toronto's fancy date night restaurant with one of Windsor's best fancy date night restaurants, okay? So, let's pick the restaurant 14. It's this restaurant in Windsor that overlooks the Detroit skyline. This is what it looks like. It's on the 14th floor of a downtown Windsor building, okay? Very nice meals. It's awesome place to take a date. According to the menu, the braised lamb is $45. A bottle of beer is going to be $5, and a glass of red wine is going to be $9 or $10. All right? Remember those, okay? Because let's now look at Toronto. Canoe, for example, is another really great restaurant for a date. It's in Toronto. Let's have a look at the menu. Lamb, $72, quite a bit more. Average dish looks like it's going to be more around $50 or so. A bottle of beer is $10, and a glass of wine is $20, which you can go to the LCBO and probably get the same wine and a whole bottle for $15, right? Again, I realize you're paying for being downtown Toronto. The restaurant has higher rents. There's a lot more stuff nearby. I get it. I'm just kind of giving you a scenario that shows you what the price difference is. Okay, so let's talk about groceries. I don't know how much they differ city to city, especially in like big box major grocers. But let's have a look here, okay? So according to Numbeo.com, something like milk is going to be 85% more expensive in Toronto. That's insane. Bread, eggs, rice, cheese, all these staples are way more expensive in Toronto according to this website. Now, I don't actually know how accurate this website is or when the last time they updated things. So, I took my phone out when I was grocery shopping so you can get an idea of what things are going for. So this here is a market near my house. Apples are $1.99 a pound. Melons, $5. Watermelon, a bit more than that. See this grapes around $1.88 a pound. That's pretty good. Here's some stuff. Now, this is Walmart. So, I don't know if a place like Walmart actually changes by region. Like, it's a big box store. It might just be blanket one price across everywhere. Or it might be different. So, I thought I'd throw this in here. Just take note. What are prices in your region like? Are they more than this? Are they cheaper than this? Or is this about accurate? It's just something to keep in mind. So that's it for this video. Hopefully this gave you an idea of what the cost of living is like in this region compared to where you're from if you're from the GTA. Go ahead and click like for me and hit subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll have another video out next week.